Hi, and welcome to the weekly general reading for this first week of March. Now, this is a timeless reading, so whenever you're watching this, we're just talking about the next 7 days ahead. We're basically looking at what energy is going to be going on with you, trying to make some predictions, see maybe if there's certain people that are going to be, helping you or getting in your way or whatever, and that kind of stuff. I really love these readings. I do post them once a week. So if you want to continue to watch one every week, just know that I do post them routinely. I want to welcome those of you who are new. I hope you enjoy your reading. And those of you who are returning, those of you who subscribe or that are just coming back again, I want to welcome you guys too, of course. I love the community we're building. That Discord server is really getting nice, and I have really enjoyed chatting with some people that have been watching my channel for a while. So do take advantage of that. I will make sure that I am posting links to the Discord server in my videos from now on, okay? All right, so I do have some news at the end, and mostly having to do with the videos that are going to be coming up this week. But I don't want to waste any of your time. Anything you need to know about me is in that description. All right, guys, and now let's go ahead and name the piles. Okay, so for the next 7 weeks, pile number 1 is the white butterfly. Pile number 2 is the red butterfly. Pile number 3 is the green butterfly. Pile number 4 is the blue butterfly. Pile number 5 is the purple butterfly. Sorry, it was a little sideways. It was bothering me. And pile number 6 is the pink butterfly. All right, guys, so if you have not picked your pile yet, go ahead and pause the video so that you can pick. Otherwise, we are going to start with pile number 1. Hi, those of you who picked pile number 1, the white butterfly, here's your reading. Okay, so we have a ghost. We have the child followed by the stars. Oh, how interesting. And then we also have the star here in the major arcana of the tarot. We have the 8 of Wands and the Chariot. Wow, so this is going to be a pretty big week. Material and spiritual prosperity. Okay, so for the most part, you guys are moving forward, okay? And that's good. Because I feel like it's an important thing for you to move forward this week, given that there's something from the past that's coming up, and it's kind of difficult for you to move past it. It's almost like it's haunting you, but I don't feel like it's like a literal ghost. I feel like it's more like things that haven't been resolved are have been kind of holding you back, maybe. And so moving forward is showing that you're moving past that kind of energy, but that energy is still going to be there, okay? It's going to take a while before you're able to kind of fully heal from whatever this is referencing. So do understand that moving forward, even if you're just doing it with your physical body here, we've got the Chariot and the star, both very indicative of moving forward too. The Chariot more so, but what I see is that you're moving forward, you're doing it swiftly, you are getting material and spiritual prosperity from doing this. So it's like, I feel like you're moving on, not just physically, but also emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and your soul is almost singing because of that, right? Because it's so nice. The child is talking about new beginnings, okay? And we're talking about new beginnings that have to do with this kind of feeling of destiny, this kind of feeling of fate. The star in the Lenormand has much more to do with fate. Sometimes it can reference the internet because there's networks of stars, right? But that's what that has more to do with, while the star in the major arcana more has to do with hope, vulnerability, and things like that. But it also has to do with direction. I really think that that's where we're kind of looking at the energy for this week for you, because we have you moving forward, and it's like your head and your heart are combining to come up with the best way to move forward too. So you're not just moving forward just to move, you're moving forward in a productive way, okay? And with the star, it's like it's a hopeful feeling. It's you're moving forward with direction, you're moving forward with intent, and it's like you're going to get there. just beware of moving too fast. And I think that sometimes when we look to move forward from any kind of situation that's holding us back, because I feel like that's kind of another motivation here, is that something's holding you back. So you're not just moving forward, but you're also moving away from that other thing, right? Sometimes we can do it so quickly that we're not fully healing in that situation. That rustling noise is my cat. I apologize. And anyway, the moving forward fast is okay, but be aware that this kind of energy is going to kind of stick around here, kind of poking at you until you resolve whatever it is that has been kind of haunting you, that has to do with unfinished business, okay? Understand that you don't necessarily, if this unfinished business is with a person or with an event or something like that, you don't necessarily have to go to that person or go to that event or anything like that. It doesn't have to be a direct healing like that. You could just heal through writing about it, through meditating on it. Maybe you'll have a healing dream about it, that kind of stuff. But just know that there is still more work to do here, even if it's just within yourself, okay? This really looks like a great reading for this week. I mean, I wish that I had more to say, but it's just very succinct. Moving forward, getting away from some things that have been holding you back, and getting some like prosperity from that. So this will pay off in the future. It will. New beginnings too. So part of moving forward for you is new. So very good. Regardless of what the cards say, I hope you have a wonderful week, and thank you so much for watching. Hi, those of you who picked the red butterfly, here's your reading. So we have a chicken. That's an interesting card to get. Okay, so we have the moon followed by the coffin. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the Tower, and we also have the Empress. And then we have sacrifice. This is an interesting, I mean, for me, this is interesting because it seems so dismal with the Tower. And, you know, when a coffin shows up, that kind of feels weird, right? But at the same time, let's just go through this one by one and talk about what this stuff means. Now, the moon in Lenormand means something different than the moon in tarot, okay? So the moon, we're talking about some kind of work. Some kind of work is coming to an end, okay? The coffin means an ending. Or it's some kind of cycle that's been happening over and over again, and it's finally coming to an end. Like that cycle isn't going to continue to repeat. And it's like you found closure on that. But I'm feeling like it more has to do with something having to do with work, or maybe the way that you're perceived, like your reputation, that kind of thing. The way that most people see you is going to come to an end. So like people are going to start seeing you as playing a different role. So it might not be literally that you're stopping your work or something like that. It might just be that people are going to start associating you more, not with that, but with something else. Okay. That's very interesting, for me, because it's just like, it's interesting for me because the moon followed by the coffin is not actually a combination that I get very often. So just the rarity of seeing these two cards together, and I understand the probability is the same for any two cards to come up, but for some reason in my Lenormand experience, and it's not just with this deck, it's with all decks I've used, these two cards don't tend to come up together very often, so I think it's interesting. So we have the chicken. So I want to go ahead and mention that this is a deck full of symbols that are very indicative of certain feminine power figures. It's called the Literary Witches Oracle. And anyway, so what chicken means is some kind of transformation usually. Think about the chicken and the egg kind of thing. So it also has some like duality there going on. So I feel like that combined with the Tower, combined with sacrifice, we're all talking about something that's changing here, okay? Unfortunately, I am getting kind of a violent change, okay? And I don't think that this change is the same as whatever's going on here. Yet we have this Empress energy of, you know, that you're being taken care of. Whatever this Tower moment is for you, you feel like you're going to get through it. You know you're going to get through it. So this might be a moment for you where things are kind of falling apart in one area of your life, but you were anticipating it. Or things are kind of going just kind of crazy, but you know you're going to get through it and that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's a lesson for you, and it's a really important one. So I feel energized when I am looking at this particular reading, because it's feeling like it doesn't feel as draining as when I typically look at the Tower and I just feel like, oh gosh, all this stuff's gonna happen. It's more like I feel like you're being carried through some kind of situation that has been affecting you very, very negatively. I feel like this might be coming from other weeks for some of you. I feel like this might not be just limited to this week, but it feels more like a past situation that's just kind of continuing to cause problems. For those of you who if that doesn't apply to, then this would be something that happens this week, okay? The Ace of Swords, sometimes we talk about the Ace of Swords as being some very cutting communication, very clear thinking, that kind of stuff. Might be that you feel like you're able to think very clearly through this, and that's also another form of comfort for you. It's not getting you all frazzled the way that it might typically do. But the Ace of Swords is also about new ideas, of bringing new it's like bringing a new perspective, right? And so when we're talking about the transformation, the transformative power of the Tower, when we're talking about, this kind of chicken energy, I know it's a kind of a silly symbol, but when we talk about this chicken energy and everything, it's like I feel like there's a great amount of creative power that's turning you from one state into another state where you are so much more capable. And I do feel like you're not going to be feeling as crazy through it as most people feel when they have Tower moments. I don't think it's related, but when we go through major changes like this, sometimes the way that we're perceived does change, and there's like kind of an end to one cycle and the beginning of another one, and that could definitely make sense here. I just feel like this is a separate topic. With the sacrifice, I feel like there's something that you promised that you were going to do and you haven't done it. And this might be a promise you made to yourself or a promise you made to someone else, but most likely it's something you made to yourself, because I feel like it's a self-sacrifice. But there's something that you're going to need to give up, or some way that you're going to need to reorganize your time so that you can fulfill that promise. It's basically something that's like, it's time to make this decision now. It's time to get this done, that kind of thing. I feel like it might have to do with maybe like a New Year's resolution or some kind of personal goal. I know a lot of people have goals that have to do with dieting, or goals that have to do with where they're going in their career and all of that kind of stuff. It could be something like that. It feels like it's some kind of discipline that needs to be brought in so that you're not slacking on something else, okay? And I feel like the sacrifice is more a sacrifice of time, spending, maybe doing things that you would prefer to do, but whatever it is, it's going to end up paying off positively in the future. But yeah, it does look like it's going to be a big week for you too. We've got 2 Major Arcana cards here. This is a Major Arcana card. So, we are talking about that kind of stuff, Understand with sacrifice, you don't necessarily have to just give something up. Giving something up also means bringing in something else to help balance that out. So you will feel that sense of balance, okay? It can look at first glance really, really turbulent this week. And it feels like it's going to be turbulent, but there's going to be some aspects of it that is going to really lighten the impact of this Tower card. So that looks good. Regardless of what the cards say, I hope you have a really wonderful week. And thank you so much for watching. Hi, those of you who picked the green butterfly, here's your reading. We have the cauldron. Okay, we have the scythe followed by the key. We have the 9 of Wands, the 8 of Swords and the Two of Wands, okay? And then we have intuition. All right. So yeah, between the cauldron and the intuition, we have a lot of creative energy, and we also have like something that's been kind of culminating in the background, something that's been kind of brewing, for lack of a better word, right? And it's like you are going to find that this week you're going to get a flood of intuition. Even if you're not the kind of person who typically gets these sorts of impressions, I feel like synchronicities are going to be off the charts for you guys. Like you're going to just start noticing all sorts of things that seemingly have nothing to do with one another lining up. So I just feel like you are getting that kind of support from spirit or the universe or what you want to call it, letting you know that you're in the right place right now and helping you move forward. And I do feel like the cauldron is representing a whole lot of creative energy that you have that you're going to be able to use for the better. But there's something you need to cut out of your life. Okay, there's something you need to cut out of the life before you can get to that point where you have that key. I feel like there's something that keeps interrupting you when you're trying to get things straightened out. My impression is that it might be a person, but there's something that keeps holding you back. And I feel like it's fear-based, like it's a fear of getting hurt maybe, or it's a fear of hurting another person maybe, but there's something that's holding you back. And this creative energy really wants to come forth. So if you end up holding it back, then you end up being kind of like in the Eight of Swords, which basically shows this kind of pressure cooker like feeling of just all of this pressure building up to the point where it's going to be difficult not to explode if you don't, explore this creative endeavor that you need to. I feel like, and this card comes up a lot lately, I think in just about every weekly general I've done, this has been coming up for the past maybe 6 weeks or something. But this card is really talking about needing to become more worldly. I feel like there's a level of independence that's even being talked about here, but there's this feeling of becoming more worldly. That doesn't mean necessarily travel, although that's what it could be for you. I feel like it's more pursuing knowledge, pursuing different wisdom from different cultures, that kind of thing. And again, that's intuition is really strong. It's a part that is really kind of knocking me over energetically in this reading. It's like, wow, I mean, you are really going to be getting a lot of stuff, and I can't stress it enough. Like, I mean, I can say it, but it's going to be completely different when you experience it because I can't overstate it. So this week, when you start experiencing all these coincidences, you'll be like, oh, that Cassie, she knew what she was talking about, But yeah, this cauldron is just talking about how you have got a lot of creative energy. It's about to spill over. It's been brewing there. It's been sitting there. It's been wanting to create itself. And there's something nourishing about this creation for you. It not only nourishes you, but it nourishes other people. And again, there's something you need to cut out of your life that's going to get you feeling much more aligned energetically. Okay. Like, I feel like you're right now kind of having a time where it's like things are kind of difficult to happen. Like, things aren't happening fast enough for you, or they're not happening in the way that is healthy for you, and that kind of stuff. And it's like this is what needs to happen in order for that to kind of sync up again. Using your intuition, using your creative energy, and cutting something out of your life that's holding you back. Because once you cut this thing out of your life, then you have the key. You're able to answer basically all the questions. You can open the door to your own positivity and manifestation. You're able to become that kind of person that you want to be, that you've been striving for such a long time. So this week is definitely kind of like a crossroads week. It's not going to feel like it's that big of a deal this week. We don't have any major arcana cards. The intuition card is, but we don't have any in this. But the intuition is really going to be a dominant thing this week for you, okay? So regardless of what the cards say, I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading, and I will see you soon. Hi, those of you who picked the blue Here is your reading. We have Elixir. We have the Storks, followed by the Garden. We have the Seven of Cups. We have Judgment. And then we have the Five of Swords. Oh, and then we have, this is the equivalent of the Two of Cups. Now it's not the Two of Cups because this is a, sorry, it's a non-traditional deck. So we call this card the Spiritual Union card. It's, if you want to know the deck, it's the Psychic Tarot by John Holland. Anyway, it feels like you're really being called on some kind of greater path this week. I don't feel like you're going to be getting a whole lot of major things accomplished, and that might be frustrating for you, but I don't feel like this week is the time for basically things to start coming out and really happening. I feel like there's this kind of reluctance to go out in public this week, but you're going to need to for some reason. Maybe you have an appointment, maybe you are invited to a bunch of parties that you don't feel like going to, or maybe there's some kind of, I just feel like pressure from the external world for you to either perform or do something, and that's going to be kind of difficult. With the Storks, you know, that brings new things though. So there might be there might be something having to do with the public that you need to go out there because it's going to you're going to notice something out in public that you wouldn't normally notice if you weren't spending as much time out in public. Of course, you know, at the time this reading is being posted, you know, the pandemic is still going on in a lot of countries, and so be careful, you know, if you're going out. But yeah, the Storks also talk about movement. Doesn't necessarily mean you're moving up, doesn't mean you're moving down either, but it's just, there's something around, like there's something that's being rearranged in your life, and that rearrangement might seem kind of tedious, but it's like you're being called to really look at all of your options and try to figure out like what it is that you want to get done, you know. It's almost like an evaluation for the rest of the year. Even kind of feels like this is like a process that you're going through that's going to kind of set the energy for the rest of the year, that kind of thing. Now the five of swords is coming up, just letting me know that communication is just not going to be very effective for you this week. I'm not saying that you cannot communicate or that you're not expressing yourself in a good way, quote unquote good, you know. I'm just saying that it feels like there's a block in communication for you this week. If you absolutely need to get some kind of message through to someone or something like that, I would just say do some energy work with the throat chakra, or do some kind of energy cleaning. Be mindful that people are more likely to misunderstand you, so that you can kind of overcompensate for that, okay? Because it's not a major aspect. It's not a major arcana card, but it is coming up as being kind of difficult, all right? Again, the Judgment card, it's like you're feeling called on a soul level to do something. And I feel like I can't even limit this to, let's say, your vocation or you know, your studies or something like that. I feel like you're being called, different people who've chosen this pile are feeling called on different levels. Maybe it is to explore something new that you haven't been exploring or that you've never explored yet in your life, you know, that kind of thing. The Spiritual Union is an interesting one because I feel like the Spiritual Union is trying to let you know that there's somebody that you have a really special connection with, and this person, it's almost like this person's about to come into your life, but not this week. But just know that they're thinking about you a lot, and they do want to communicate with you, and it's almost like they want to partner up with you, and it could be for a romantic reason, it could be for another kind of reason, but with this Spiritual Union, I'm just getting a lot of really like loving energy being sent your way from someone who you also feel a strong connection with, okay? This would be a special person in your life, not just a random person, okay? This elixir is letting us know that you are going through a healing process as well right now. I feel like it's an ongoing process. It's not starting this week, but that there's just I feel like this is what the impression I'm getting from this card. It's like you've been through a transformation, you've like completed some kind of change, and now that you've completed that, now it's time to heal like any kind of growing pains that you experienced by going through that transformation. It's like you're on a completely different level of thinking about things, but you still need to continue to rest, in order to get, in order for things to kind of settle down. So that's generally what I'm getting this week. Again, it feels like a lot of the bigger stuff, like the spiritual union and being called, is going to be happening in an abstract way. So it might feel like this week is somehow insubstantial, but that does not mean it's not an important aspect of your life, because I do feel like this is important right now. There's just something about you. There's something about going out that you're going to have to tough yourself. You're going to have to be tough and just kind of do it, because it's like, I feel like whatever this is not something you're motivated to do, but just know that there's some kind of thing. There's a good purpose behind it. There is a good reason, and hopefully that'll help you to continue, to actually do that. Hey, regardless of what the cards say, I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very soon with another reading. Hi, those of you who picked the purple butterfly, here's your reading. We have mushrooms. Okay, so we have the lilies followed by the paths. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Whoa, the King of Pentacles. And the Queen of Wands. Oh, and then we have the universe. Okay, wow. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Okay, so I feel like with this mushrooms card, it's telling you to be very aware of different elements in your life that you can use for your benefit. I feel like there are different people and situations that could really help you out that maybe you're saying no to for whatever reason. I feel like those of you who picked this pile might be really closed off to certain maybe suggestions or certain ideas of doing things differently, because maybe you have like a really, really good reason for doing things the way that you want to do them and all of that. And that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to go with something else. I'm just saying this card comes up letting us know that there's so much more help. Things could be so much easier if you would open up to receiving guidance from either other people or from looking at other situations. I kind of feel like this is the equivalent of somebody like having access to a bunch of knowledge but refusing to look at it. And let me give you a very specific example. I know a person who is very gifted in understanding psychodynamic psychology, okay? And we had talked about one particular theory of psychodynamics that was really interesting. And I was like, hey, you can borrow my collected works of Carl Jung, and I think that you would really benefit from reading this. And it was like, this person was very, very like reluctant for whatever reason to actually read that. When this person finally did start reading it though, he just was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this sooner, that kind of thing. But it was like he didn't feel like he had time for it or something, but it just made his life so much easier once he finally did that. That's the kind of feeling I have. Just that somebody's recommending something to you, or somebody's telling you, or there's some kind of nudge in a certain direction that you're ignoring, and that you need to be open to that, because it'll give you some tools in order for you to grow in a way that's a lot more productive. We've got a lot of people in your life this week. We've got two pentacles here, and then we've got this Queen of Wands. I really feel like this week is going to have a lot of material or like earthly gains for you, okay? You might notice that there's some kind of sport that you're like all of a sudden interested in. I would imagine that not a whole lot of people that watch this channel would be interested in sports, but I feel like there's a sport, or there's something that you do with your body that you're very interested in this week. And in addition to that, there's also some kind of material benefit coming to you as well. It won't be real big, but it'll be enough to help. The Queen of Wands energy is just kind of like letting us know that you might be feeling a little impassioned, and you might be kind of quick to anger this week. Gosh, I feel like I'm insulting you. Please don't take it like that. I'm just reading the cards, okay? But just kind of keep in mind that you might be a little bit more prone to taking things in a negative way, and by being aware of that, you can kind of reevaluate what people are saying so that you're not overreacting or anything like that. Understand that there's sometimes where it's very appropriate to be a reactionary type person, so please don't think that I'm saying that that's a negative thing. The universe in this particular deck, I want to just show you, it's 21. It's the same as the world in the Rider-Waite deck, right? But we're talking about the Psychic Tarot, and so the universe is meaning like you are definitely connected to something bigger than yourself, and I feel like the universe is going to provide for you. And I think that that's another reason why these people are showing up with help, okay? The lilies in the path, it's interesting. I feel like a lot of my viewers have been making important decisions lately, because the paths are always about, which way to go? Should I go this way or that way? I feel like as long as your heart's in the right place, it doesn't matter which path you go down, as long as you do it from a sense of wisdom. And that's what to do. So if you have to make a decision, just ask yourself, what is the wiser choice? And that should be plenty in order for you to figure out which way to go. So let me just kind of recap. Go with the wisest decision. Understand you might be a little touchy this week. That's okay. But just be aware of it so that you can kind of adjust. Looks like there's some material gains here. Also something having to do with the body, like maybe a sport or something like that. Keep that in mind. And then we've got some resources here that aren't being acknowledged or are being ignored. And I feel like that's kind of your task this week, is to figure out what that resource is so that you can take advantage of that. All right, guys. Regardless of what the cards say, I hope that you have a really wonderful week. And I will see you very soon for another pick a card reading. Hi, those of you who picked the pink butterfly, here is your reading. We have a spider. Okay, we have the snake followed by the tower. Okay, we have the 7 of wands, we have the 10 of cups, and we have temperance. And then we also have memories of love. Okay, so we have a little bit from everything right now. I would say that this week does have a lot to do with your connections with other people. I feel there's going to be some point where you're feeling like there's something you've been preparing for, and it's finally here, okay? There's something you've been preparing for, and it's probably a big thing, because we've got this 7 of wands, which can sometimes show kind of being defensive a little bit, but I feel like it's more like you're prepared. You've planned for this, or you think that this is going to happen, or and then you've got some kind of connection that's really, really important, going in a positive direction, okay? And then we've got temperance reminding you to make sure that you're not overindulging, but in a more positive way than, say, like the devil card, right? It's just, you are aware of keeping in a balanced energy state right now. Memories of love here, with the six of cups. In a Rider-Waite deck, it's memories of love though. It's a non-traditional tarot deck. Is the Psychic Tarot by John Holland, if you're interested. This is referring to someone from your past, and I feel like the connection that is going to get a lot better might be a past connection that you have that maybe you've fallen out of contact with or something like that, and it's going to come back around. I would say that that's true for about 60% of you. For the rest of you, it's going to be like a relationship that is very much in the present. But just for some of you, I really want to make sure you have that as an indicator, so that when you experience it, you'll be like, oh, I know what she was talking about. The spider, I really feel like we're talking, the spider has the same kind of energy as the Seven of Wands over here in this particular reading, because we're talking about planning ahead. We're talking about devising a solution to a problem. We're talking about creating our own ways of handling things and solving problems. And we're also talking about self-care. We're talking about taking care of yourself, making sure that you are getting what you need, your basic needs. Okay. So I do feel like you're going to be doing a lot of personal work as well this week. But it's not without company. Like I said, I feel like there's a lot of connection going on. So with the snake and the tower here, I kind of feel like this could have two meanings. For some of you, it's like somebody at work is going to be really difficult. But for others, it is actually going to be on a more global stage. Someone who is some kind of figure in the public, associated with a big organization. So it could be a church, it could be politics, it could be a government. It could be a company. There's somebody who's going to do something that you really like. It's almost like you feel personally attacked by it, or you feel personally offended by this, and it's going to really bother you. I feel like it's appropriate though. So just kind of be aware that this kind of energy is just kind of in your week this week. The interesting thing about it is that I don't actually see you actually being hurt by this person, regardless of whether or not this person's at work, or this person is just some kind of public figure that's hurting, that you're upset with, right? Just because we've got the tower here, it might be somebody from New York or somebody from a really big city, right? But yeah, we have that going on. So that's something else here we've got this week for you. Understand though that the main focus is going to be on your own personal relationships, accompanied with just being prepared. I just feel like you're really making certain that you're planning ahead and all of that kind of stuff. It's very wise, and that you're doing a really, really good job of that. All right, guys. So regardless of how your week ends up, I hope you have a wonderful one. And thank you so much for watching. All right, guys. So, last week I was talking about how I wanted to redo my top videos. And I got one out last week, and I had really wanted to get them out more quickly, but I've started to find out, and I've got to just commit to this, that I have a little bit more difficulty when I try to push myself to do things every day, with actually getting content out, than when I just say, okay, I'm going to get content out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. When I tell myself I'm going to do 3 videos a week, then I get it done. When I tell myself I want to do more, then I tend to get behind. So I'm going to do what's best for myself. And, we're still going to be redoing this video. The next video that comes out is still going to be the Do They Fantasize About Me video. But I'm going to pace myself, and I'm going to get this done on Wednesday. And then the next one that we'll be doing on Friday is What Are Their True Feelings? Okay, so those are 2 really exciting videos that I look forward to making for you guys. And all of that, just know that I'm trying to pace myself so that I don't, get weird. I just want to mention, you guys, I do post on the community of my channel a lot recently. I've decided to just kind of open up the Discord server to everybody, so those links aren't going to expire from now on. Some of the previous ones I posted will, but from now on I'm going to just keep a link there, so that if you guys want to join chat with us, that would be great. Again, I've chatted with some people and I've really enjoyed it. So I'm very open to talking to you guys and just, seeing what kind of community we can build together. Because I think that that's something that this channel really needs. Also wanted to say, I'm not trying to push anything on you guys, but just know that I do have resources out there, like on my website. I do have a blog that I'm going to continue to update, and I've got at least one article on there at this point. I do have a MomentsAre shop for intuitives that offers a lot of tools and all of that kind of stuff. Every single cards, like in any of the cards that you might want to purchase, I mention whether or not I use them on the channel, and they're all 11.11, so they're very affordable. But I also offer other things, and you know, just be aware of that kind of stuff, right? Just want to make sure that you're getting as much out of what I'm putting out there for free as you can. And of course, I also offer private readings, and that's another thing that if you feel called to do that, then that would be great. Otherwise, you know, I will continue to do these free readings on the channel, so no worries about that. Thank you so much again for watching to the end of the video, and I will be back on Wednesday with Do They Fantasize About Me, which will be really interesting.